Back in the day, if you wanted to become a famous simmer, you had to be on livejournal. Livejournal pretty much served as a Symboler of the past. It was a popular place for simmers to share their screenshots of their legacy challenges, or even just tell stories using pictures from their games. I've been desperate for the Sims community to pay attention to me since I started posting Sims content online at 12 years old. So of course I had a livejournal. And young me took this seriously. I thought I was going to become the most famous simmer of all time. I don't have access to my old livejournal, but I have screenshots on my Photobucket account that I had posted to the livejournal. Let's go through them. First of all, I want to introduce you to the founder of my Sims Legacy Challenge. His name is Andrew. I don't know his last name. And I'm 99.9% sure I did not make this sim. He's too good looking, and young me just didn't have the ability to do that. So in order to get around this and become LiveJournal famous, I downloaded Sims off of LiveJournal, and I tweaked them a little bit and tried to pass them off as my own, and I think this was one of the cases. But anyway, he's our founder. He lives in this lovely house that I clearly built myself. I was really self-conscious about my game at this point. I thought my game always looked too, boring, and, it didn't have pops of color like other people's game. And in order to become LiveJournal famous, I needed color in my game, right? So I made sure to have color in my game. I pretty much did the solid color challenge here before it was cool. Yellow was the brightest color, and I thought people would be attracted to my game if I just, put a lot of yellow into it, so I was really proud of his house. But unfortunately, his bedroom was really boring. I'm sure that I put a little comment saying, oh, it'll get better when we have money, but I really wanted to set the scene here with this bedroom, environmental storytelling. He doesn't have much, money, so he could only afford a bed, and in legacies you get more money eventually, so I'm sure that I will eventually show you guys a wonderful bedroom for this man. And here's his really boring bathroom that I'm sure you guys were just dying to see. You're welcome. Anyways, we start off the actual main story by showing you the newspaper guy. Very important. I'm sure he'll come up again. I'm sure the next slide will be incredibly relevant to this screenshot because young me was a storyteller. Apparently not. So, this is a humorous moment here in my Sims Legacy posting. As you can see, my sim cannot reach that plate. Now, I needed to zoom in and show you how he is not super impressed by this revelation. And I wasn't either. But I thought it was a humorous moment for this legacy, so. But then triumph happened. He eventually picked up the plate. And I know, this is so riveting. I don't. Literally, the Sims community should have been at my feet worshipping me for this storytelling. I know. Anyways, just another screenshot to prove to you that he picked up the plate. And look how triumphant this man looks. Anyways, we decided to go to a club in downtown. I took this screenshot as a way to kind of set the scene. I definitely put in the comment time to go meet some ladies or something. And it was not a club I made. It's actually the Pier nightclub in downtown. Normally when people take screenshots of builds, it's, their own builds or something, but not me, because I couldn't build. Anyways, he meets this lovely lady here. I would definitely have my sim date her nowadays. She looks really pretty, right? So, they're clearly vibing. She doesn't look super impressed in the screenshot, but I'm sure it was just a bad moment. We all have them. So what do you do when you walk up to a girl in a club? You talk about kissing. You gotta ask for consent, right? And look how eager she looks. We have already found our Cinderella, right? So he goes in for the flirt and he gets rejected. And he's looking at the camera like he's in an episode of The Office, and he's women, what? Right? But then we go onto the dance floor and we have this amazing moment that is supposed to capture my viewer's attention, where lights shining down from the ceiling. and he successfully flirts with a woman. So I feel like this is a very important part of the story, right? So anyway, he starts talking about recycling. She's not super into that. I wouldn't be into that either. Like, it's important, but like, you're kind of ruining the moment, right? So it's another humorous moment in my legacy. She's really not impressed, and he's kind of angry. So so they have their first little disagreement of their relationship, and it's very important to capture this. Like, he's being such a mature man by, you know, blocking out the noise. And anyways, they start dancing again, what you're supposed to do in the club. But then quirky legacy shenanigans start happening. His face gets stuck, which is funny, right? Like, the Sims community should be, like, rolling around on the floor, laughing at my comedic genius here, right? Like, why didn't I have, like, 10,000 followers at this point? Anyways, his face is still stuck, and they're still dancing. But then, like, she realizes his face is stuck, and she's like, oh my god, this man's crazy. Instead of, like, you know, asking him to go see a doctor or something, like, she immediately just kind of writes him off as, like, crazy, which is kind of a red flag, but we moved past it, and we started talking about Disney. Anyways, Andrew gets home, and he can't keep this girl out of his mind. And you would think, like, this would lead to another date or something, but I had to capture the fact that Andrew is a working man, and he goes to work, he's a doctor, he's smart, and after a long day's work, he just naps on his couch instead of going to bed. You guys needed to know that too. But then we get another screenshot of him on the phone looking really cute. We could have totally skipped the last 3 screenshots, but I feel like they were super important. Anyways, he invites Laura, spoiler alert, her name is Laura, over, but she's not finding him very funny or entertaining. So of course he had to go in for the kiss. Like, he couldn't ruin this moment. And I had to get like a frame by frame analysis of this kiss, just to prove to you guys that they kissed. It's very important. And then I took the sweetest screenshot I have ever seen in my life. Like, look how cute that is. Like, I could imagine having that as like a MSN profile picture. Like, I had a vision here, and I think I actually did well with this vision. This one I can explain. There was a time period where Mod The Sims had a Sims feet picture thread, and I thought this was the greatest idea of all time, and I had a era where I was obsessed with taking pictures of my Sims feet. Moving along. Andrew meets a dog. Have I been calling him Andrew? Why have I been calling him Andrew? His name is Austin. All A names are the same. Awkward. I'm sorry I'm not like super familiar with my Sims from over a decade ago, okay? Anyways, Laura moves in with 2,000 simoleons. You know I was mad. I wanted to make bank, and she only comes in with 2,000 simoleons? Anyways, this is when I make Laura lose her sparkle. Like, first of all, I give her this, like, middle-aged mom haircut. Like, and I change her outfit. Like, this is a vibe. This isn't. And then I have a screenshot here of Laura plotting her revenge against Austin. And just to emphasize it, I took the same screenshot again, except Austin is thinking about 2 different items, so I'm sure that was going to be a pivotal plot point later on in this legacy. Anyways, now we are getting into the sultry scenes. Sometimes you just gotta like imply things subtly. I love that. I was very subtle. So subtle, in fact, that I didn't take any screenshots in between those, and just had more subtlety here. Probably because the first time I didn't hear chimes and I wanted her to get pregnant, so you gotta do what you gotta do. Anyways, back in the day, I could not stand it when my Sims had babies and were not married. Like, it felt wrong to me. So I, of course, had to get them, like, hitched quickly. So I did the classic proposal here. I was obsessed with this dinner table proposal, and I still am. It is so cute. And they did the classic, we're getting married in our kitchen, first generation legacy thing. This was like a pretty common trope back in the LiveJournal days, and I of course had to do all the common tropes because it's quirky and relatable, and my viewers will love it, right? Anyway, what do you do once you get married? You go on a honeymoon? No, you play chess. Amazing storytelling. That's what I want to do after I get married. Yeah, just screenshots of them playing chess. Anyways, he had to go to work, and so he left Laura to play chess by herself. He looks very displeased by this, and I'm sure he just didn't want to go to work that day. And that's relatable. Another thing we did, instead of just announcing the fact that a sim was pregnant, we had to take pictures of them puking. You also had to get them looking distressed all the time. That's another trope that I had to follow. And then you have to get the picture of the pregnancy pops. If you do not get the picture of the belly popping, you are not a good simmer. Like, I was adamant that I had to get pictures of their belly popping, and if I did not, I would, like, reset the game sometimes. So here's the moment where Laura finally tells Austin she's pregnant. He then stares off into the distance, looking miserable, and I don't blame him. Here's a picture of the second pop, and as you can see, it wasn't the best time picture, but I thought it was acceptable. Austin's getting promoted, love that for him. And then I had to take another picture of a place I did not build, just to set the scene that they're going to the pet store. And here's Laura picking up a pet, a German Shepherd. So we bring the German Shepherd home, and he meets the stray cat. And then we get this awful interaction where the cat is hissing at our dog, and the dog is looking absolutely shocked. And as you can see, the cat is about to pounce on the dog while the dog protectively puts up its paw. It's very sad, but luckily, a hero arrived, and I'm sure this was the setup of like some sort of dog romance story that young me wanted to create, because I was obsessed with breeding animals in this game. Anyways, it's baby time. And I take this picture of her looking super happy she's about to push out the baby, and I'm sure she was just smiling through the pain, and that's probably what I said underneath this picture. And it wasn't a sim's birth without the father panicking. This is a very important moment to capture. And then we give birth to our first baby, a daughter. And of course, I have to capture the beautiful nursery that I built, the wood paneling, the 3 windows, like, just a beautiful moment. You gotta make sure that, like, passerbys can see into your baby's room from every single angle, and I definitely achieved that. Anyways, the funniest thing back in the day was to put your baby on the floor and take a picture of it. So you will be seeing various pictures of babies on the floor from this point forward. Now, who knows what that water could be, right? It's dog piss. I specifically remember setting up this screenshot to convey that it was dog piss because it was dog piss. I remembered that. I thought it was the funniest thing of all time. Still kind of do, as awful as that is. Yeah, so we'll move along. Anyways, I had to show that Laura could be a good mother, so here she is, putting the baby to bed. I had nice little interactions queued up there where she was putting the baby to bed, peeing, and then going to sleep. So she was being incredibly responsible, and I love that for her. And then you get to see the cover picture of the legacy. This was the picture that everyone was going to see when I reposted it on like livejournal sites so people could read it. As you can see, graphic design is my passion. I wrote the Andrews legacy in incredibly clear font, with lovely slashes through the font that look amazing. And then I have a little number here indicating that it's generation 1. And as you can see, I mastered the YouTube like clickbait face, and I used that as the cover picture, and I think young me was a genius for that. But then we get another plot twist. Laura starts thinking about the woohoo they had the night before, and she says, "I think I might be pregnant." And Austin's like, "Oh, what do you mean?" And then they end the conversation, and as you can see, she clearly thinks she's pregnant. Is she, though? Anyways, life moves on. As you can see, Austin here is a great father, feeding the baby the green formula, but then he puts the baby on the ground so he can pet the dog, which is like a perfectly valid reason to put your baby on the kitchen floor. Like, I don't blame him for this, but it was soon time for the baby's birthday. And as you can see, there wasn't much of a celebration. There was no extended family or anything. We just had Mom, Dad, and our mustard kitchen. And our mustard birthday cake. I was just super into yellow, apparently, at this. And of course, the dog had to be a hater until the last second, because babies are annoying, and he just didn't want to deal with it, and I feel like that's valid. But then, dramatically, during the birthday celebrations, we have our first pop. So, Laura's pregnant again. And then we're introduced to our kid as a toddler, and she's adorable. So, clearly, her face will bring in the clicks, right? Like, people will follow me and comment on my live journal and think I'm the greatest simmer of all time, right? Anyways, we put her to bed. Another thing is, I thought I was the funniest person alive for having my kid eat dog food. I was also lazy and didn't want to take care of the child, so he killed two birds with one stone with this picture, honestly. But I wanted to show that the dog and the child were best friends, so he was totally okay with her sharing the food. But then it's time for another sim in distress moment. She wasn't having the baby. You might have thought she was having the baby. But look, there's a fire. But don't worry, the fire truck has arrived. And here's a dramatic moment of the firemen saving the day. Laura was so shocked from the day's events, she passed out on the floor. And this is when I used max motives. I wanted to be transparent to my audience. Anyways, with max motives being in my sim systems, I was able to teach the child to talk. But then it was time for labor. I'm not sure where the puddle is on the ground. I would say her water broke, but that's not a mechanic in the game. Probably dog piss. And we had our second child. I do not remember if it's a boy or a girl. But luckily we have our well-behaved firstborn here to be the older sister. Or maybe not so well-behaved. I was sure tricking my audience here with the happy child. And then they would scroll down a bit further and get greeted by this. Anyways, it was time to show that we, in fact, do care about the second child too, so here we are putting the child into bed, riveting content, feeding the child the Mountain Dew, and cleaning up the suspicious puddle on the floor. I'm sure you guys were just like wondering what happened to the puddle. Well, it got cleaned. And here's the saddest screenshot I ever took of like this is the villain arc, because Austin here is scolding the dog, and look how sad the dog looks. Like, he did not deserve that, whatever he did. You know what? I think this screenshot is supposed to portray that this was dog piss. Cause I think he was cleaning it up, and he was like, "Oh, this darn dog," right? And then he went and scolded the dog for that, and that is awful. Like, the dog's been going through a lot. You never scolded him for peeing before. Why start now? Anyways, it was time for another mustard cake in our sad mustard kitchen. And it was time for our toddler to become a child. And then, the funniest moment in Sims gaming history happened. A glitch. I don't even know how to describe this, but once again, I thought this would, bring in the clicks. People would find it hilarious, think I'm hilarious, and love me forever. She puts the child on the floor like she's a toddler and has a little bit of a breakdown because she doesn't know what's going on. And as you can see, Austin here is clearly debating just leaving for a pack of cigarettes and never coming back. In an attempt to show the child being normal, I have a picture of her chugging bubbles, so. But yeah, this is for part 2 of the Andrew's legacy. So his name, that's why I was calling him Andrew, because his name was Austin Andrew. And that was pretty much it for my screenshots of this specific family. I genuinely thought I was gonna get, like, Sims community famous by posting on livejournal. I wanted the livejournal clout, and, honestly, with this, like, compelling storytelling that you've seen today, like, I should have been Sim community famous. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more Sims 2 content, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.